Insecurity is insidious, and confidence is contagious. What's up, everybody? My name's Elliot, and this is another episode of Urban Sage. I wanted to talk to you guys about something pretty important and prevalent that I see in society today, and that's dating apps. I got into an interesting conversation with my Uber driver today, and well, first let me say I've been on dating apps for a little while, and I just recently deleted them, like deleted the account, not just the app, but I deleted all like the whole thing. And I've always gone back and forth, but you know, just recently I've been empowered to detach from dating apps for a different reason, which I'll get into in a second. And so I was in an Uber today, and I always ask my Uber drivers, like, how's it going? What's up? Tell me everything. What's going on? You know, I really try and have a meaningful conversation. And she was like, well, I'm single, and I just deleted a couple of dating apps, and it kind of sparked this conversation that has kind of been on the shelf in my mind. And ironically, it's also what kind of empowered me to delete dating apps myself. And part of it is that I've heard Russell Brand say that just the fact that dating apps exist, it validates the fact that I think that I need it, right? Like you could compare it to like utensils. Like, because utensils exist, it kind of makes me think that I can't eat without it. But you can eat with your hands. You don't need utensils to eat. And, dating apps are a really great tool to utilize, but they have to be utilized with the proper mindset. And, I just remembered thinking about it. I work with someone, I work with a client, and he also said one of his major fears was that he was misrepresenting himself on his dating app profile. And, he was in fear that he, would have to, convey his true self to this person once he finally meets him. And so with dating apps, there's this undertone that's usually unconscious, that is, I'm using this app because I either don't have the opportunity to, or I don't know how to, or the availability isn't so readily available to meet somebody in a more social setting, right? It's kind of, not to be kind of harsh, but it's a crutch. And it's a tool that's utilized very improperly. And it's used in a way that's kind of like, I don't really have what it takes. This is very unconscious. It's like, I don't have what it takes to meet someone in a common social setting. So I'm going to use the tools at my disposal, i.e. dating apps, to meet somebody. Which, I don't know if I'd say there's anything like wrong with that, like, but it's definitely not progressive, and it's not productive, and it doesn't aid in any really substantial way, because it's really saying that I'm not good enough. It's saying I'm going to use this because I'm not good enough. And I think that I had to come honest with myself and say, what, this isn't true. And, like I said, I've gone back and forth a couple times over a couple years. And I had to be honest with myself and be like, what, like, and 100% honest. Not like, I've been like 95% honest in the past that like I don't need it, but then that 5% would like grow in magnitude, and eventually that 5% would be bigger than that 95%, or it would be it'd be more substantial, and I'd end up getting back on the apps and things like that. And it was never really aiding me. I'd have a encounter here and there, however you know, long that encounter was kind of irrelevant. But it would happen regardless, and kind of it validates like, oh well, I guess that this is working, and it kind of snowballs, but it's not exactly like a positive, like progressive snowball, which is kind of another unconscious undertone that may not be realized. It's like, and I maybe I should have prefaced that, like, people do meet their significant other on dating apps, and that's all really great, and it's not that I'm saying dating apps should or should not be used. It's just that this undertone, this unconscious implementation that kind of happens when utilizing them should be brought to the surface. So to kind of recap, when you use a dating app, it's like you're telling yourself that you're not good enough to meet someone on your own. So that's why you use the app, right? Whatever that may be. And then, which is one component of it, right? But let's just say, for conversation's sake, that what I'm saying is true. And perhaps just if on just one, a relationship is two parts, if that statement that I'm making is true on one half, maybe it wouldn't be so detrimental to the relationship. But let's say it's on both halves. This is a relationship that's kind of formed within insecurity and this feeling of like not good enough, and kind of like interpersonal disease is really the foundation of the relationship. Again, not all the time, but this is kind of the unconscious underlying feeling, or ideology. And so this relationship that's formed on a dating app is, I mean, in simple terms, it's super not healthy. It's really not healthy. And I think it's one thing to be like, I'm just looking for a casual one night hookup, like, and that's a whole other conversation. But if you're really looking to find a relationship off of a dating app, think about the type of the quality of a person that is using it, and like they can be successful and have a job and be developed and everything like that, but like there's this there's this subtle inclination of like, why are you using this app? Like it's not like every single person is on a dating app. There's a large percentage of it, but like, why, you have to ask yourself, like, why is it only a certain number of people are using this app? Because if it was a really great idea in its entirety, like if it hit all aspects of well-being, then everybody would use it. But since everyone isn't using it, you have to kind of ask yourself, like, well, why isn't everybody using it? And it's because, like, some people don't need it. So then it's like, well, why do some people do feel like they need it? And then it's like, well, because, if you feel like you need something to execute something, you feel like you're not good enough to execute it without it, right? And when it's in terms of like a relationship, or like, like trying to find a significant other, you're saying, I'm not good enough to find a relationship or find a significant other. And, that's like initially, like that's an issue, right? So there's that. So now it's like, well, what do I do with this information, right? And you can do whatever you want with the information. And this isn't like something that I'm just making up. Like I've had this conversation with a couple people, and they agree. A couple people isn't like, a large enough census to be like, this is a fact. But I know that I'm not the only one that feels like this. But so then what do you do with this information of that, like, like when I'm on a dating app, I could potentially be on it because I feel like I'm not good enough. to spark a relationship in a more social setting. Like, what do I do with this? Well, I think the first thing is, with anything that is, interpersonally detrimental or unconsciously destructive, is, stop engaging with it. Take it out of the equation. If it's like, because then the opportunity for the detrimental contribution of engaging with it stops, right? It is no longer an issue if you stop engaging with it. So then the opposite. So if the first thing to do is to stop engaging with this thing that is causing me to unconsciously be insecure, what is the result from that? And on some incremental level, on some minor level, it builds confidence, right? Because if you remove insecurity, even if you don't really progress, you're no longer depleting yourself. And so this confidence is contagious in means of like, well, now that I am not contributing in a demeanor that is causing me to feel insecure, I am in turn making myself feel more confident about myself. Because then you continue on in your life, and you start to have these interactions that are genuine, and they're not rooted in they're not formulated through utilizing some external force. So it's all you, right? So like you had this some minor encounter with someone that you find attractive, or someone that you value at like the grocery store or some more common social setting, all on your own, and it builds confidence, right? And that confidence is contagious, right? Because you feel good in one scenario, and it snowballs in the opposite exponential type of way that insecurity would. And so in removing this attribute that causes an insecurity, you allow confidence to be present. And then in engaging with that confidence, you allow it to grow exponentially and substantially. And so so why would you want that, right? What's the purpose of that? And so then what that would do is that it would hopefully and potentially allow the relationship that is formed from a more confident interaction to be of a more healthy demeanor, right? Because you're saying, oh wow, I feel confident in myself, so assumably you have an understanding of what it is that you're looking for, and you're not selling yourself short, and you're really trying to uphold this character that you see for yourself. And the result of that is that you're gonna choose to be with someone that potentially upholds that individual that you see within yourself, this confident self, right? And then that grows exponentially. You choose to be with someone you choose to be with someone who upholds this confident character, because that's the person you were when you met this person. And then that grows exponentially as well, right? Because they validate each other, and then it takes its course whichever way it goes. People get divorced, people stay together forever, but that's not the point. The point is that the relationship is of more health and of more well-being. So this is just something that I really felt like it was like kind of like on my heart to share, and it was something that I feel like isn't talked about enough. So think about that. Think about how maybe utilizing a dating app could be causing an insecurity to kind of manifest itself insidiously, and how the removal of it, or the removal of it, will create confidence, and that confidence will grow substantially and exponentially in your life, and that confidence will trickle into other aspects of your life. But that's almost irrelevant, or that, I guess it's a conversation for another time. But yeah, it's just something I wanted to kind of talk about. Stay up to date until stay up to date, and please like, share, drop a comment, subscribe, so you guys can stay up to date with all the videos that I have. And I'm so glad that I got to talk with you guys. It's kind of late, but I wanted to get this video in anyway, because I value this. I really do. And I think that if any of us have information that is of value and that we benefit from, in sharing it, it could benefit other people. And I feel like that is such a substantial aspect of just living a life of well-being, just providing someone else with the knowledge that you have so they can have a better personal experience because of that. So this has been another episode of Urban Sage. My name's Elliot, and stay tuned for next time. Thanks. Bye.